Alright, so in this video we're going to go over a method of posing your character within zBrush. So for this method, we're going to be doing this, at the at the end of the process. So our character's completed and we have our model made, we have our UVs done, we're ready to go. And now we just want to get them into a nice pose. So for this method, we're going to be using the transpose master in conjunction with basically a rig built out of zSpheres. So to get started, I have my model here, and I'm going to go ahead to Z plugin up at the top, and then down here we have transpose master. So I'm going to dock this over here just so we have it, and I'm going to turn on the zSphere rig. This is just so it knows to use this method, and then I'm going to press T-pose mesh. Oh, so it actually, my model's fully combined and it wants subtools. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to add another subtool quick. So I'm just going to split out the split next point, just split something to a second subtool so I have it. But so the idea with the transpose master is that you can have your model split up into a bunch of different subtools, do the transpose master on it, and it will give you an opportunity. It'll kind of combine everything together, let you pose it and adjust it, and then it'll transfer those changes over to your original model. So I got my subtools. I'm in the transpose master. The zSphere rig is turned on, and then I'm going to press T-pose mesh. So what it did is it brought me into another tool. So here's my original one, here's the new one, and you can see it added a zSphere to the scene. So now I'm gonna use the zSpheres to basically build basically a skeleton. So you can turn symmetry on, and then like we've learned, you can draw in different zSpheres. If you make your brush smaller, it'll act better. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to draw in my different basically bones. So when using this method, the more zSpheres you add, the more control you have. So I'm just going to keep it really simple for the moment and just give ourselves the base kind of base joints we would need to get it to start moving. So I'm just going to take a second. Got some legs. I'm going to draw in a spine. Oops. Got some shoulders. Got some elbows. Got some wrists. Got some, I'll just have one to represent the hands, but you can make it as detailed as you want, but this will at least show us kind of what's going on here. So I'm then going to create one for the head. So we got this really simple version of a rig. Joints at the knees, hips, shoulders, elbows, wrists, one for the head. So let's just see how this functions as is. So once you have your rig created, you can come on down on the tool panel. Near the bottom we have rigging. And if I turn that on and press bind mesh, it'll bind the zSphere rig to the mesh. Now if I use the rotate tool, I can now rotate my joints and start to make a pose. So I still have symmetry on, but if I turned symmetry off, I could start to pose out my character and make a pose. But now what we can start doing is we can see if it's starting to function how we want. Maybe we don't quite like how that's working, or maybe we don't quite like how this is working, but what we can do now is we can, let's see, if we unbind the mesh, it'll bring it back, but we can go back in here and start to add more detail to the rig. So if you want to give yourself more control or be more specific with where you want each joint to control, so like for the elbow, for example, I can add in a couple more, we'll call them supporting zSpheres, that just help tell what areas to control with this joint. So see, now I have some supporting areas down here. Oops, and I forgot to have symmetry on, so let me turn symmetry back on. Let me do that one more time. Just draw in a couple extra little bits. Oops. Draw in some extra bits. Move them out. I'm kind of adding some maybe to help control the cuff a little bit. And I want to do the same thing maybe in the knee area. I'm going to go to my draw tool, draw in a couple extra supporting zSpheres, move them into place, and let's add one more to the back here. But like you can see, you can get as detailed with this as you want. It just depends on what kind of results you're trying to get. So let's bind it now, and let's see what we got. I'm going to go back to my rotate tool. Definitely recommend using the rotate tool when posing, because this lets it kind of function more like an actual rig. So now you can see, since I have these supporting zSpheres here, when I rotate the arm a bit, now this part's not moving. Here we would probably have to add a bunch more here to control this a little bit, but let's see, I'll do one more area. Maybe gonna add a little more to the rib cage area. I'm basically gonna treat it like like a rib cage. Give my guy here some ribs, I guess, just to help tell the rig where to control. But so make it as complicated as you need. You may have a simple pose and may not need to do as much, or you may have a more complex pose and you need to add those additional mounts. But so I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to pose my character, give him a bit of a pose. I would usually add more to the head so he doesn't kind of squish here, but I'm just going to give him a pose, quick pose. Well, that's weird. Boop. There. Really beautiful pose. But, so get that where you need, get the rig as complex as you need, get your character posed, and then once your character's ready, come back over to the Z plugin Transpose Master, and we're going to press T-pose, transfer T-pose. So I'm going to press that, and it's going to take everything I changed, and now you can see it brought us back to our original tool, and now it repositioned everything to match how we transposed it. So this is a great way to, work non-destructively. We could be working in that other tool to make the pose, and then it'll transfer it over to our original model. So this can be an awesome way to give yourself a nice pose. Sometimes you may find that you can get it most of the way using this tool, but like say this area, you can always come back in and just like push and pull things and kind of do a little bit of cleanup. But you can start to use this to get yourself most of the way there. So that's using the Transpose Master with a zSphere rig to pose a character in ZBrush.